Hello and welcome to the May Outturn podcast, American Oak HTMC. You want to tell us what an HTMC is, Duncan?
Heavy toast, medium char.
Oh, I like that. You both chanted at the same time. Heavy toast, medium char. Do you like a rugged highlander?
Rugged highlander. It's Duncan, right?
That's Duncan. No, it's not that rugged. As we mature, so do our palates.
Yes.
Still waiting for the rest of you to mature.
Yeah.
I knew he was going to be trying to be mean to me on this.
I'm trying to make up. I've got 2 people's worth of bullying to do here, Calum.
My name's Calum Lawson. Joining me today, we have Duncan Gorman. That's your surname, correct?
Oh, well, you got it right. Yeah, you did.
Yes.
You know me so well, Calum.
And what is your job title?
Senior content specialist, I think.
Nice.
If you want to be pompous about it, but
Yeah, so unfortunately Richard's not with us today. He has been a bit unwell, so we're sending him lots of love, but hopefully he'll be back with us very soon. But we have our special guest today, Ria McAdam. What do you do, Ria?
I'm European Marketing Manager. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. We've got a bit of a jungle theme happening today. We've got the plants behind you and you've got your leopard skin on as well.
Matching, yes. So wondering what you
you've
call
been storing that one as soon as we sat down. You can tell you've been thinking that.
I was thinking that. Yeah, so we've got loads to talk about today. Hopefully, we've got so much to get to today. We're in the middle of May, so we're talking about festivals. Is a really very exciting time in the whiskey calendar.
We're in the middle of it now.
We are in the middle.
We're right in the middle of it.
Yeah, we are.
Was at the end of April. We've already
Yeah.
had our foraging tasting in Speyside. If you were there, comment. How'd it go? What else have we got coming up in May?
We've got the cycle tour around
Cycle tour in Campbelltown.
just before the Isla Festival. You're going to Isla, aren't you?
I'll be going to Isla, so come and abuse me if you're a fan of the show.
What are you going to be doing in Isla?
And a few different things. I think we've got our tasting at the Ballygrant, which we did last year, which was a lot of fun. And it's great, just like last year was my first year. And it's just so different to anything I've done before.
Because the last time you actually sat on this side of the camera, we were talking at the place before you were
Yeah, I'm getting deja vu here.
and we shouted you on, because Duncan's normally behind the camera,
Yeah,
but today
I feel a lot
he's been
safer
upgraded.
behind the camera.
I feel
You
it's
just
like, it's
kind
like
of-
unveiling the stig a bit. Having you here.
No, I feel a lot more comfortable. I mean, you will have seen me probably eating,
Yeah, you do a lot of
eating
other stuff.
bugs
on
or,
top, yeah.
I don't know, being in a sensory deprivation tank or goats or something weird, but...
And that's just a new.
And if you haven't seen any of those videos, then you probably think that was a very strange sentence.
Siblings.
But no, yeah, Isla should be good. And we've got, on our theme of adventures off the beaten track, we're doing a seafood safari tasting, which just sounds amazing. So we're going to go on a tour around the bays of Isla, stopping at all the big distilleries, Ardbeg, Lagavulin, taste some whiskies and eat fresh seafood, about as fresh as you can get. So if you haven't got a ticket, if it hasn't sold out, which I'll be surprised if it doesn't sell out soon.
They tend to go down quickly, don't
Got
they?
to be
And the themes, I have to say, the themes of these tastings this year are really, really exciting. So we've definitely upped to a level there. So I don't know whose ideas these were, but
You literally had him on the show last month. I don't know how you forgot.
sorry,
that,
Anthony. But he was a wee bit nervous coming on the podcast. Are you feeling
Oh,
nervous
really?
today?
Not at
Yeah.
all.
He didn't say anything, but I noticed when he was having his first dram, he was a wee bit like,
Oh. Well, I didn't come across it.
no. And obviously having you here today, can give us a wee bit of insight in the world of marketing and the SMWS, and we've got a few other things to talk about. We've got our Father's Day dram pack, and
What's going on?
but I think we should have a dram to
Yeah,
get started.
sure.
Yeah.
Tuck in.
Sure.
So we've got a few whiskies to try today. We've got 5 in total. There's quite a few festival releases this month, as there was a few last month as well. We also have a couple of the 2-to-1s, which we had last month too, but obviously different bottlings this month. But I thought we'd start off with something. We normally like to have something that is a little bit, how does Richard put it?
Well, it's a great price point,
Yeah.
and it's also something that's different as
We
well.
don't like to say cheap.
Is this like the starter? This is like. the
Oh,
starter
exactly.
dram.
Right, yeah. So
It's not only is it a starter, but it's something totally different as well because it's a great.
it is totally different. And actually, we've had a few people asking about grains because we used to, like we go through sort of stages where you see loads of grains for a while, but I just kind of felt like we hadn't had one released for a while, so we had a few people asking for it. So, and they're great because they're so different.
Tell the people what it is. What have we got?
So this is G15.30. It's called Pleasing and Delightful. It's 8 years old and it's a first fill bourbon barrel. It's pretty punchy at 62.1%, and this is the juicy oak and vanilla flavour profile. So this distillery is a Highland distillery. They make steady famous for.
How many codes do we have?
I don't know, like 6 or something.
Yeah, crazy number of codes.
And even some of those are different as well. So technically, you could probably have more codes to this distillery. So it's well known for being like the Willy Wonka of the whiskey world because they have 3 different types of stills and they do everything. and they make grain whiskey there. So they've got a continuous still where they're making grain for their blends that do, but also, if you're lucky enough to try it, they do actually release their own single grain. Single grain? It's a grain whiskey. A single grain is one particular cask. Blah, 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 blah.
But with this bottle, which, because I only learned this very recently in an article for Unfiltered, where Julian, who's part of the whiskey team, was going through all of our heresy bottlings, and was it Gastronomic Fusion, I think, was also a grain blend, but it's made from 100% malted barley.
Yes.
Which really surprised me. And
Yeah.
so this is the same, but it can't be a single malt whiskey because of the column still.
Yeah.
So that generally, am I in the right ballpark?
Gosh, it got a bit confusing, doesn't it? So, grain whiskey was originally invented to make whiskey in general more palatable in terms of blends. So they were adding grain, which is essentially is a much more neutral spirit, and typically it's not made from malted barley, or doesn't have to be made from malted barley. So you can have rye, wheat, corn. It can be a variety of, and it's a much more efficient process. So you get a much bigger output, and it's much faster, and it's, as the word continuous, it's like, it's doing full process in one continuous loop. So, yeah, but we don't always want efficiency. That's why the pot stills are so traditional, because
A lot more
they're making one
character
single
comes through.
distillation. You get a little more character, you get more sulfur. So essentially, it's a much lighter spirit.
I mean, physically as well, the first thing I noticed is just how light it is.
It's really light.
But and it was never intended to be drunk this. It was always just to be added to single malts for blends, to make it a bit more palatable for like a sort of global sort of palate, as you will.
Easy drinking.
Yeah,
This
exactly.
style of whiskey is popular with our members, though. Right?
Yeah, and it's perfect for somebody who is maybe new to whiskey, because it is an acquired taste whiskey, and especially drinking spirits neat is also quite hard to adjust to. But it's a really good, let's use the word gateway. So I already want to add water to it because it's so fiery.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I was thinking that.
so grain whiskies tend to be a lot creamier. So it's got a different kind of mouthfeel to it. You're getting it
Yeah,
as well.
yeah,
It's like it's fire water, literally.
yeah.
That's your fault for rushing us there. I was like,
That was Ria's idea.
one of the first things
I just hopped in the bandwagon.
one of the first things I ever did for contents-wise, content-wise, not contents. Richard was in the Bash Street venue, and he's, quite often we'll recruit some staff
Much nicer on the
to
palate.
come in.
Is it better with some water?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
He'll come in and get the staff in the venues to do like a wee bit on a dram or whatever. And I was a wee bit nervous about it. I had done my notes or whatever, but I hadn't really done a lot of it. And Richard doesn't mess about. He's like, right, let's go for it. And I did the same thing as I did there. I took a big swig of it, and I was literally like,
That's why a great insider tip is to, before you go live, before you do a podcast, before you do a video, have a taste of your
have a
whiskey
taste,
first.
maybe, yeah.
And it just settles you down a little bit. You get that first initial alcohol. Because usually if you're fine, if you're just sat in the house chatting to your mates, it's something you don't even realise. But as soon as a camera's on you, or you're looking into a bright light and you have a first sip of whiskey, your throat just seizes up and you're trying not to cough and splutter.
Thanks for that insight after we've opened it.
Yeah, sorry, I definitely should have told everyone that before.
It's just, and we don't, and it's not this strong because we're trying to be wild and crazy. It's just because it's natural strength, and it's in its purest form. So yeah, I always add water to my whiskey regardless of the ABV. Occasionally, maybe very occasionally I might not, but most of the time,
Yeah, sometimes you taste it and go, you know what, this is just lovely as it
I'm
is.
usually putting a good amount of
A
water
lot of
in
the
there.
time it's nice to just see the difference.
Yeah. This is a very creamy mouthfeel, I think.
It is, isn't it? The idea was usually we have a guest on and we just sort of go straight into asking the guest a few questions or whatever, but we thought it would be better to just have a wee dram first, so we can relax. Our fearless leader isn't here today to guide us.
I know.
We're all just going to chill a little bit, but maybe we can ask Ria to tell us
We're
a little bit
wandering.
more.
That's what we're doing.
Yes.
We're whiskey wandering.
Yeah.
Conversations.
So, how long have you been in society for?
3 years, just.
And what did you do before you came to society? You always worked in whiskey?
No, I haven't. So before I came to society, I worked in a marketing agency, and I worked on lots of different clients in media and marketing planning. And then I applied for a role with ASC for a marketing planning manager and joined the society. And I think the society is my whiskey journey. The last 3 years have been my whiskey journey. I don't have a bad story of raiding a cupboard and tasting a whiskey or anything like that. There was always more appealing things in the alcohol cupboard. Sorry, Mum and Dad.
Are you saying
You're
whiskey's
listening?
not appealing?
No, but I'm saying there was other things in there
Booby trap on
I know.
guests. Why do you do that?
that took
For
my
shits and
fancy.
giggles.
So I don't have anything like that. And I guess, the society is my journey. I think when I first joined, I was invited to a tasting with other colleagues that Olaf hosted, and obviously anyone that knows a tasting with Olaf, it's
You'll get anyone hooked on
spectacular.
whiskey.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It was totally inspiring and actually quite funny because a lot of the colleagues around the table had or were doing a degree in brewing and distillation, or really into their whiskey.
Yeah.
Whereas they were all introducing themselves and saying, I'm doing a course in brewing, or I'm doing this in distillation. I was like, hi, I'm Ria. Like there wasn't.
I'm a rookie.
Yeah, there wasn't
Did
a lot.
you find it intimidating?
Not at all, because I just found it really, really interesting.
Yeah.
And I think Olaf's got this amazing way of making you feel at ease.
Yeah.
It was 3 dram tasting, talking about no rules around whiskey, add water, don't add water, do what you think.
It's a great way of like talking to a group of all levels and finding the middle ground.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's like messages that you can never get sick of hearing because it's so easy.
It's just a
in the
jolly-
whiskey world,
jolly
you
old
can
chap,
just
isn't
go
he?
wherever you
Yeah.
like and you can just sit and natter to you about almost anything, which is great.
And I never got it. Like it was, when people used to say, oh, I'm tasting that, I'm getting cola cubes or foam bananas or things like that. I thought, what?
Yeah.
And actually,
I still think that.
the people psychology part is so interesting for
the
me.
memories,
Like people talking about memories or listening to people saying, oh, this reminds me of, and then taking another sip of it and thinking, oh, actually, I sort of get that.
Yeah. Or it
And it
takes you
leads
back
the
to
way.
somewhere.
Yeah.
It can be suggestive as well. So one person suggests something that they're getting from it, and then
Yeah.
you instantly get that as well. But then you have this sort of shared experience.
Yeah.
I think there's always a bit of a worry that you'll see people coming into the venues who never really had whiskey before,
Yeah.
or they're in a tasting, and people are scared of saying the wrong thing because there's a lot of information. The way we do things is, with our distillery codes, the flavour profiles, it's completely different from regular brands where you can see the name of the distillery and all that. But so it's another level, So it can be kind of a little bit intimidating, but you just don't need to worry about it.
No.
Just everyone, there's no right or wrong. Just try.
And it's different for everyone as well.
It is,
That's
exactly.
what's so great. Like talking to Olaf, we did a podcast with him. It must have been about this time last year, for his 30th anniversary with the society. Sorry if I got that wrong. 30th or it must be 30. Or 20 maybe? I don't know, it doesn't matter, but he's been with the society for a very long time.
And he was recently honoured as Keeper of the Quay.
Yeah.
And he was talking about how where you're from in the world totally influences your interaction with flavour, and that's why we have such a variety of bottles, because we're so global.
Yeah.
But I think the sensory thing is a big thing. Like when I was at a barbecue at the weekend there, and it was absolutely freezing, but in true Scottish style, everybody's outside, huddled around.
It's summer now.
Goodness me, no. But yeah, we opened a bottle of underwater barbecue that I'd gifted one of my friends, and we had the sort of fire pit on, which was far too smoky, and everybody's eyes were like red and stinging. It was freezing cold. It was a great barbecue. But it was that sensory thing of opening that bottle, the smokiness, the flavour. Everybody had one. Some people hadn't heard of the society, so it was their first time trying the whiskey. And I love
giving people their first society dram. It's something I find so exciting because it's so different to every other whiskey that they will have tried before.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing that. I mean, we've talked a lot this year about having that wow moment where you first try a dram and you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Or it's something just so wacky, or your first single cask or cask strength whiskey is just so different to what most people will taste off the shelves.
I like the idea of tasting whiskies in interesting places as well. I mean, we spend a lot of time during the winter, especially in this country, just inside by the fireplace and having a dram, which is lovely.
Yeah.
But like the idea of being out having a barbecue, or you're on a
yeah.
beach, or you're up a hill, or whatever.
It's a bit different.
It's something.
Yeah.
This is our national drink, and it's,
Yeah.
there's lots of great whiskies worldwide, but this is where it came from. And
Richard was in one of our articles that's coming out in May, Unfiltered. Richard was doing a wee roundup of all the different whiskey adventures we've done in the past. And some of the stuff is amazing. I did start to see a pattern though, because I mean we've done so many cycle tours. We've done one in the Hebrides, we've done one on Isla, we've done one in Spaysides, and then I was like, oh, what's this other one? Oh, road trip in a Mustang across America. Who was on that? That was Richard again, was it? Oh, okay. I'm starting to spot this pattern of just where Richard's like weaving in all these like amazing experiences. Oh, so what's that? You've gone walking up a Monroe on, was that work time? Oh, okay, I see. So he's got a great habit of like finding stuff that he wants to do, turning it into work and tasting whiskey. Which, if you take out the work aspect, that's kind of what everyone should be doing anyway. It's like find something that's a little bit different, go and do something you enjoy, try have a dram with it, as long as it's responsible, And it's totally just try something a little bit different and get out there.
I think having two people that are as chatty as you and I, we're all still on our first dram here, and I find myself being the one that.
Come on, we've got lots to get through.
So this one, but Richard is like, right, come on, stop talking, Calum, you're talking rubbish. Okay, this whiskey
falling
here.
apart without you,
This
Richard.
is first grain whiskey in a while, G1530, pleasant and delightful, 8 years old, and it's in at £50.
Tell me everything you know about grain whiskey.
No.
And it's pleasant and delightful.
As I mentioned, we were talking about some 2-to-1s last month. I'm not sure if I'll do the song "Two Become One." Are you a Spice Girls fan?
A big Spice
You've not done
Girls
any
fan.
singing.
You didn't.
This month.
He's not a Spice Girls
Are
fan.
you telling me you didn't watch last month's podcast?
I watched it, but I don't think you have to do it again for this one.
Oh right. I thought you were,
Once is plenty.
I
She
thought you were
said.
questioning whether I.
To become one.
I don't need a live performance.
I
is
thought
what
you were
she's
questioning
telling
whether
me.
I sang it or not, but
We can pick another bottle to sing to.
we'll find something else. Do you like a rugged Highlander?
Rugged Highlander. It's Duncan, right?
That's Duncan. No, he's not that rugged.
Highlander.
He's a Highlander. You're
I'm
from
a Highlander.
So you're from Nairn, aren't you?
I'm from Nairn, yeah.
So what's it like
city in
growing up in
Yeah,
Space
good
Side
one.
then?
Well, yeah.
The fastest what?
Have you not heard that?
No?
Oh,
Hold on.
here's your
Not-
opportunity.
not-
Here's your
I've
opportunity.
been waiting for this moment my whole life.
Right, sit back.
You've not heard about Nairn? The fastest city in Scotland? Nairn!
I knew it was going to be some sort of joke.
Yeah.
No.
Very well done, actually.
Apart from the time,
Did you
I
use it
messed
at
that up.
Halloween?
I say that
So-
every time it gets brought up.
So
That's-
tell us
that
about
comes-
growing up in Nairn.
Well, it's not Speyside.
Oh, sugar.
To start off.
Is it
It's
not?
not
It's
far.
still close.
It's not
He's on
far
fraud watch.
from Speyside, but Highland,
Okay.
northeast,
So it's just
in that little
inland from
corner of
Inverness,
the map.
is it? Yeah, it's just and
Yeah.
what's the next town along? Like
Inverness is like the city along.
on if you're
On
going
the other
west.
side, Forest, Elgin, that's where you get
Forest, that's what I was
McAllen
thinking.
and
Yeah. Elgin was what I
So
was
around a lot of distilleries around there. And an amazing place to grow up. Beach, seaside. I always say
So
I
you-
feel at home beside
You tell me
the
the
sea.
teenagers in Nairn aren't on the beach having whiskies?
I know, I mean, you would think,
You're
but
wicked.
lots of other
What's it? What are you drinking?
MD 2020.
What did you start? What was your first tipple like when you first started?
Oh, well, yeah, it probably would have gone around the Alcapop route,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
you start to explore.
2
with-
litre bottle of
yeah,
cider or
2
something.
to 1, mixing something with that to get your own 2
And
to
then I'll
1.
move on to the sophisticated single cask whisky from the Scotch Malt Whisky Society.
Absolutely, yeah,
As we mature, so do our palates.
yes.
Still waiting for the rest of you to
Yeah.
mature. Fairness.
So a rugged Highlander.
I knew he was going to be trying to be mean to me on this. You be
I'm trying to
careful,
make
young
up.
lad.
I've got 2 people's worth of bullion to do here, Calum.
So this one is from distillery number 78.91. It's called a Rugged Highlander, as we know. 12 years old, and the initial casks are bourbon hogsheads, and then the 2 final casks were an American oak HTMC. You want to tell us what an HTMC is, Duncan?
Heavy
toast, medium char.
Oh, I like that. You both chanted at the same
touch wood.
time. Heavy toast, medium charred.
For the rest of the podcast.
And also first fill American oak PX hogshead. That's coming in at 80 pounds. So what are we expecting to get from this one, Duncan?
Well, tell
Smells
you
amazing.
what I didn't know until very recently was how important the different types
I'm
of.
allowed to have
Finish
notes, by the way.
research.
I'm allowed to have-
I'll
I'm allowed to have
very
notes.
transparently be open about my knowledge of whiskey, which isn't amazing, which is why I'm about to say why.
It's not bad.
Yeah, you're talking a good game.
I
isn't it?
never. Well, yeah. I'll not say that. What I didn't know until very recently was how important. And it sounds so silly when you say it out loud, but how important the type of oak was. Because as a beginner, I just looked at: is it a bourbon? Is it a sherry?
Yeah.
And I kind of took that as gospel for what the whiskey was going to taste like. It wasn't until I was reading another one of Julian. All my whiskey knowledge comes from Julian in some way or another. Another one of
He's
Julian's
actually sitting behind the
articles.
sofa
Yeah.
now, whispering in his
Wait,
ear.
wait, sorry. What's
With
that,
your
Julian?
fee.
Can't do his accent.
But I didn't realise just how important they were. So, American oak. What would you say? I mean, obviously they're both equally
Oh, he's going to spin
important.
it back to me now.
Yeah, I am. This is how I'm a professional
Yeah.
bullshitter. The difference between American oak and Spanish oak.
Spanish oak or European oak.
European oak.
Well, American oak is you think about what American oak's usually used for as bourbon, right? So you're kind of thinking those kind of flavors. So your vanilla, your caramel, and a real nice sweetness to them as well. Spanish oak has a bit more spice to it, drier, more tannins. So that's why you get a lot of that.
What are tannins to
Tannin? Well, tannins.
those of us out there who have no idea what
Well,
you're
I
talking about?
think tannins it's probably easier to think about in wine. Like a red wine, you get that kind of chewy feeling in your mouth, and it's like that's to do with the grapes, but you get that from the wood as well. So it's mouthfeel, it's spice, it's fruits. You know, like your dried fruit kind of flavors. So because depending on what you put in it, obviously has an impact as well. But
So it's
initially, it is what you're getting from the oak, and that is why sherry tastes the way it does, and that's why bourbon tastes the way it does. I mean, they're two different initial spirits, but essentially most of their flavour comes from the wood, and then after it's been used for bourbon or sherry, then we're putting whiskey in the cask. So you're going to get similar flavours that the sherry or the bourbon got from that cask.
And HTMC.
I didn't realise this, but it's a term that we know quite well in the Scottish Malt Whisky Society because it's something that we didn't necessarily create, but
we pioneered.
We customised that style, that exact sort of heat treatment, I suppose, as you will. So heavy toasting is what you do for sherry casks. So you see in the bodegas, the flames go up, and it's just a really quick explosion of fire, and it's a toast on the inside of the barrel. Whereas charring is a harder process, so the oak, the casks. So if it's toasted, it doesn't look too much different. It's just a bit like a bit of toast. It will just feel a bit light. Whereas char is like you've burnt your toast.
Yeah.
And that's more familiar with American oak and bourbon or whatever. So heavy toast means it's going to have quite a high level of toasting, heavy toast, and a medium char. So take what you want.
Let's see what it is.
On that note.
So I'm expecting it to be sweet. HMC has always got a nice colour to them. Yeah. Instantly. But this is also a combination of PX as well, so that's going to add a bit of colour. The sherry's going to add a bit of colour to it, the sherry cask. So it should have a lot going on. Yeah, that'll come from the charring. It's almost like and it is like a burnt kind of smokiness as opposed to a peaty kind of smokiness.
Yeah. It's like the barbecue.
Like the barbecue, but it's like barbecued honey, barbecued ribs, or it's definitely a lot of sweetness to it.
I understand. Obviously, when you read that bottle name before you taste it, you're kind of like, okay, what are they talking about here? As soon as you taste it, you can understand that sort of rugged aspect of it. It's kind of untamed a little bit. It's a little bit.
That's delicious.
A little bit fierce.
It's got a lot going on, as you'd expect from those different types of casks, but it's a nice balance to it. It's got sweetness, spiciness. As you say, it's got a bit of that kind of kick of charred smoke.
Ashy.
But it's not, wouldn't say it was peated.
What distillery number is it?
So it's number 7891, which is the Highland distillery. It must have one of the most, well, there's a few that got dramatic backdrops, but this sits right behind.
A big hill.
I do this a lot.
One of the largest hills.
It is the largest hill in Scotland, and it's called, the hill's called...
What's the hill called?
The hill's called Ben Nevis, and this distillery just sits right in front of it. I do this all the time.
You just said Ben.
No, it's
short.
like a good loophole, isn't it? Yeah.
Have you ever climbed it?
Do you know, I've done a lot of Monroes, but I have not climbed Ben Nevis.
I've run the race.
Have you done it?
Have you?
I've run the race.
Have you?
The 3 Peaks?
No, just the Ben Nevis
Oh,
race.
right, okay, I didn't know there was a race.
How long did it
There is
take?
a race. I've done it 3 times.
Oh, right, sure.
Each one was slower than the last. Slowly just tailing off. No, I did it last September on what was the hottest day of the year.
Oh.
It was ridiculous. I don't know if you remember, at the very start of September, it was about 30 degrees.
It's always the same, that
And
bank
it was
holiday.
like, oh my god, it was awful. I thought I was in for trouble because you start with a lap around the track, and I just basically was the last one out the park, and I was like, oh god, I'm going to get absolutely smoked here. Everyone else is running away from me. And there's a mile of road at the start before you get to the hill. By the time I got to the hill, I was passing everyone because they were all blowing up because they went way too fast. So I managed to get up and down in one piece. So
Don't peak too early. Pardon the pun.
So
nice.
enough about Duncan. Let's talk about some whiskey.
I think
I'm not
that's
going to talk for the rest of the
amazing.
episode now.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, so this is one that we see quite a fair amount of releases from this distillery. So it's a bit of a member's favourite. It's certainly one that I like and it's very well regarded. You don't see that often as a single malt release from the distillery. It's actually owned by a Japanese company, and until they changed the laws in Japan, they were actually, so the new law came in that meant that anything produced in Japan that was named as Japanese whiskey had to be distilled in Japan. So previous to that, a few years ago, a lot of this liquid was going out to Japan and being bottled as Japanese, but no more. So I guess that means there might be more available for us in Scotland, because it's damn good stuff.
I haven't really seen that many
You do
casks
see
from
it.
this distillery. With the society, 90's not, it's not too many considering.
I guess I can't really argue with that. 90, that's okay though.
Yeah.
I feel
We've
like,
got another one in the lineup that's got a lot less than that.
yeah, there is. I feel like that we do see it from time to time, but it's certainly a good one. You like it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So this is one of our 2-to-1s. The other 2-to-1 is from distillery number 64.162. It's a combination of Oloroso and red wine cask. Can't remember the name of it though, but it's worth checking out as well. insert name here. Okay, should we move on to the next one?
Yep.
Happy?
Yeah.
So here we go. Part of the festivals. We were talking about festivals. You get to go. Why do you get to go every year to
I'm
Islay?
the content guy.
I'm the content guy.
Content guy.
I got invited 2 years ago.
Was that the last time you got
It
invited?
was the last time I
Yeah.
got invited.
Makes sense.
But as you know, I did have a wee scrape with the van. Remember?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's
Before I even
part
got
of the
to the
podcast
accommodation.
lore is that incident.
That podcast was one of our highest numbers wise.
What you're telling me is you need to crash more vans.
I
Yeah.
think the title
Never seen the same again.
After Crash More Vans, and also the fact we mentioned the Islay Whisky Festival, everybody just gets
Oh,
excited
yeah.
about
Yeah.
that.
Understandably.
Cracking on here, I just feel that I am Richard now. Right? Okay. This one is from distillery 115.35. So this is a Speyside distillery. It's called Luxury Lubrication. I'm trying not to spit that out when you spring
Yeah,
that
no.
in. So
Cool.
bourbon and then into an XPX Barrique coming in at 61.3%, and this is the sweet and spicy, or spicy and sweet. I always get the wrong way around.
I feel like I'm being, for my first proper podcast, I'm being tested a lot here. I'm having to be very sensible
About what?
with these names and tasting notes.
All right. What's this about? We're talking about earlier on. Are you going that? Try not to laugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very bad for
We'll
that.
just read out
Very
inappropriate
bad.
or.
As soon as I'm not meant to laugh, I really, really struggle. I bet you were like that in school as well, were
I
you?
couldn't laugh. Oh, I was always in trouble for laughing at or staring out the window in class.
And work.
Yeah.
I know.
Right. Okay.
I think it's worth mentioning as well, this is one of our Whisky Wanderers bottlings for
Thank you, Rhea, for keeping us on
Whisky
track.
Wanderers
Yeah, I appreciate that,
festivals
yeah.
Thank God Rhea's here.
in
Jesus.
May.
I did say festivals, but you are correct. That is the
Yeah.
well, you can maybe tell us a bit more.
So yeah, so it's a start of our Adventures Off the Beaten Track. So this is what we're calling our season from May until September. And as we've already mentioned, there's loads of amazing events all throughout the season that tie into this Adventures Off the Beaten Track theme that everyone's getting really excited about. And I guess it's worth mentioning as well that Adventures Off the Beaten Track's not always in a kayak or up Ben Nevis or doing something outdoorsy. A lot of our country managers in Europe are planning events that are, you know, in a rooftop bar somewhere off the beaten track. It's a hidden gem
the
that you
barbecue
call...
in your garden.
Right,
Doesn't
I
have
mean,
to always
yeah,
be
it's a
like
hidden
physically,
gem.
it can be different whiskies
Yeah,
or different
yeah.
pairings and tastings. And
But yeah, I guess Whisky Wanderers is our theme for May. And it's worth mentioning that if you buy any of the Whisky Wanderers bottlings in April or May, you are entered into a draw to win a bottle of smoke, which was one of our rare releases from last year's
Smoke.
festivals.
Do the line.
I can't remember what it was. We were trying to pronounce it. The kind of
Smoke.
smoke.
Okay, so that. But worth £550
Yeah, I mean,
for
it's
those that
an-
don't
it's an
remember. It's an
amazing bottle.
amazing
It was.
dram.
Oh, that was a fantastic bottle. Yeah.
So there's 5 to win.
When we were on
You're lucky.
Isla last year, that was the big favourite. It's like
Yeah.
folk were just coming up and going, please, can I try some more?
Yeah.
And we were in short supply as well because it was really, really popular. So
And
Yeah.
also, you know, you're saying off the beaten track, but like kind of everything we do is off the beaten track.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
as you know, we specialise in single cask and we do a few other variations of that. But you know, it's always going to be different. Every time you have a different bottling or from a different cask, it's always going to be different. And you know, and it's different from the whiskey you would buy from that distillery as well. So.
Yeah, and the amazing things about these bottlings is they're, 35 specially selected casks for Whisky Wanderers, and they're all totally different expressions that you'd expect from these distilleries. So
yeah. There's a lot of
there's
like
exciting
funny
things.
regions.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's from a Highland, but it maybe doesn't taste like that, or a Speyside,
Exactly.
or so. There's a lot of stuff that will surprise you in there.
Yeah.
Which
Would
is,
you say you were?
which is fun.
Would you say you were a whiskey wanderer?
Well,
Sounds like somebody.
Is this a trick question? Are you setting me up here? I feel like
That's
this
punchline.
is a trap. Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. Do you? Would you
Are
call
you?
yourself a whiskey wanderer? If you don't, you get sacked
I feel
right
slightly
now.
embarrassed now. You've turned it back on me now. Sounds a bit like the guy that's coming out of the pub at the end of the night. Oh, whiskey wanderer. I'm going to wander home.
Depends what pub you're in.
It does depend on what pub you're in. So what are you getting from this then?
I haven't even smelled it.
I'm getting like
Reminds me of
plums and
something,
jam.
but yeah, I can't think.
So,
Syrupy, yeah, quite syrupy. Or
so normally, you know,
sweet
we have the second cask will be a minimum of 2 years. So we never use the word finish or whatever. It's always a further maturation of a minimum of 2 years. Where this one has been in the PX cask for even longer. So it's more than 4 years. It's been in the PX cask.
Wow.
So, and PX is typically the only sort of really sort of sweet style of sherry. But yeah, I get like dark
fruity.
fruit. It's like, it's just What you getting?
I'm getting a bit apricot-y.
Apricot, yeah. Absolutely, it's a bit yogurty.
Yeah, like those little yogurt
I've not actually
covered
tried it.
raisins.
I was going to say blueberries.
Blueberry, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I feel like I need a bit of water on that one as well.
Just go with my fear of saying a tasting note and expecting Calum to just go, absolutely not, I don't know what you're talking about.
There's no right answer.
so
wrong
wrong.
answer.
Yeah, everyone feels like that.
It's scary.
You come to that tasting and you're like, what do you guys think about that? And they go, because people don't want to say the wrong
wait
thing.
for someone to
There's
tell
no
them.
wrong
Yeah.
answer, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Some.
yeah, it must be. But it's hard. But we're so creative with our tasting notes that
Yeah, you can get away with
encourage
anything.
people to have fun
A little
with
bit of
it.
creativity and you can
Yeah.
get away with anything.
yeah.
So this is the one you were talking about, because this is what 0.35. So we've only had 35 casks from this distillery.
Which is crazy.
Crazy, man.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Gareth's looking a bit lonely back there. He normally has got Duncan keeping him company, but
Why did I sign up to this?
I know.
What can you tell us about this distillery, Calum?
I can tell you this. It was opened in 1894 and it's named after the nearby hill, which I won't tell you the name of. It is a fairly small distillery, but
Yeah.
I've seen it from time to time. I think that's fantastic. Luxury lubrication. Try
What's
to
the
say that
price
without
point on that
laughing.
one?
Good question. What's the price point? £70.
Oh, bargain.
Okay, so we've got a couple more of our. I won't just say festival bottlings. I will say Whisky Wanderers Festivals 2026.
2025.
2026.
You're ahead
I
of
swear
yourself.
Let's just show you're on a different planet.
I'm a different planet. Oh God.
Come back, Richard.
2027. We're in a time warp here. Okay. No one else is offering to pour the drams. I see.
You haven't asked anyone.
Well,
You're just taking control.
I'm sitting next to them. This is. We have to stop.
Oh, look at that glass. Who washes the glasses?
Oh no.
I'll give you another glass if you like.
It's okay, I'm not that
No,
fussy.
no, no, no,
No, I'm just asking. Just asking. No, don't worry about it. No.
Come on. That's,
It's fine.
No.
No.
I feel like a terrible
No,
host now.
no, it's okay. Well, you
right.
can swap. You pour that one and then we'll swap.
Okay. So I have to be punished by getting the dirty glass.
You want to see the state of
not-
his glass first before.
Oh, I've already poured. I've got one there, I
Glass
think.
half full.
Oh.
Oh, for goodness.
Here we go.
Right, yeah. That,
Oh, hold
much
on.
better.
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Oh,
Cheers.
cheers.
I thought we should have done this.
It's a bit late,
Have
yeah.
we got?
It's a bit late. This is God. You guys are hard worker. Let me tell you.
On your toes?
Yeah, keep me on my toes. So this is 68.126. It's called the Wizard (brackets) of Oz
Oh.
Balancing Act, and this is the spicy and sweet flavor profile. 14 years old, and it's bourbon. And then the secondary cask is an ex-muscat barrique. And Duncan's going to tell us all about muscat wines.
Is this when Gareth zooms into your red glittery shoes, your Wizard of Oz?
Oh,
yeah. I've gone-
I was like looking at the floor.
Let me
going,
just
"These get glittery
Clip
shoes."
my heels real quick and I'll
Yeah.
tell you everything about
There's no place
Australian
like home.
There's no place like the SMWS home.
Yeah.
Leaf.
The spiritual home.
The spiritual home. There's no place like the spiritual home of the SMWS. Yeah, so this is bourbon, and then it's been moved into an Australian muscat barrique after 11 years, and it's 14 years old altogether. So, and this distillery is a Highland distillery. It's very well known for the Bell's brand. So typical workhorse distillery, producing volumes of whiskey for blends, but when you have it in its own right, it's fantastic. Some Pitlochry. You ever been to Pitlochry?
Yeah, I was there yesterday.
Wow.
We spot lunch, not at the
Did you do
distillery.
your homework?
I had my two
That's a lovely
children
town,
with
isn't
me,
it? A good,
so.
good wee holiday
Yeah,
destination.
it's some fun.
great
I love
for a
it.
spot of lunch.
So Australian muscat, which I gave you the notes already. You tell me you didn't read them.
I'm sorry, I haven't
paid no
I haven't
attention.
asked ChatGPT or something.
Oh, well, I didn't. Well, I had to look it up anyway. It's not.
Help me out here.
I
then.
don't know if
This
I've
is
ever
where,
seen.
where Calum knows the answer to a question and he's berating me for the answer because he knows that I don't know it and he's
Well, I don't know
trying
much,
to
so
expose me.
that's clear as well.
Oh, we know that.
I walked into that's fine. Yeah, so I don't recall seeing any of our casks from this cask type before. It's an Australian fortified wine. I think it's probably more familiar with Sauternes, dessert wine kind of style. It's a dark, rich, very, very sweet fortified wine from Australia. And I think it'll be very, very interesting.
So this is your dessert, either starter or main in our...
Well, there you go. That's, yeah.
Never been a fan of a dessert wine. Don't really get it.
I know what you mean, yeah.
I'd rather have
they're
like,
something really dry.
rather an
they're like,
espresso
they're just
martini
like,
or something.
yeah. I agree. I've tried them and enjoyed it, but it's probably not my kind of go-to. But people get very excited about different cask types. Often people are asked for, different cask types when they come into the venue. It might be like, have you got any rum, have you got any red wine? So when you have something that's really interesting like this, and it's great that we can say exactly what the cask was that it's been in, is really exciting. So,
And actually, the fact that we don't know an awful lot about it shows that it is something different
So
that we don't
intriguing,
see
yeah.
very regularly.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
we're actually
Good cover up there,
inadvertently
Duncan.
doing a great advert for this bottle.
So what we getting flavour-wise with this? Duncan, you can lead us in this one. You just as he next the
I
drum.
know. Didn't realise we were nosing for. What was that wee slurpy thing?
He does
there?
that every time.
What is that?
And usually
it's
we've
like
got
mouthwash.
headphones on and we get like ASMR bubbles.
That's very professional in the whisky
I
world
could do it again. What do you do?
Yeah,
Do it again.
walk us through that.
I'm gonna spill it this time, isn't it?
This is like something you tell your kids not to do.
Like through your teeth.
I don't know. It is pretty. I don't know.
Gross.
No. It might be. I don't know why I picked that up, but I've definitely seen other people do it. Professionals.
Oh.
But I'm letting a little bit.
Who?
Yeah. Let's source. Source, please.
There's not Richard Patterson that says you're meant to hold it in your mouth for every second of its years.
What?
Hello.
Yeah. So this is 14 years old. So by his letter of the law, you should hold it in your mouth for 14 seconds before you swallow it.
Really? Wow.
So
But you
you also
definitely
tell you
should.
to like spit it
So you're
out.
going one elephant, 2 elephants, 3
You
elephants.
definitely want to hold it in your mouth for a little bit. And this sounds really. I can't try and get the polite word.
Yeah, I
to
knew
say
you could
pompous.
start with
Pompous.
it. Yeah.
We'll go with pompous. Yeah. And I've probably seen some whiskey experts doing it there, but I'm just letting a little bit of air come into my mouth and I'm swirling it around a little bit so that I get the benefit of the flavour.
And if you do it without doing that, do you think it's any different?
So, are you really offended by my?
No, I'm intrigued. It's just.
I'm all
Kind of-
for this.
kind of thing-
I've been bullying him
What's the
about
kind of
this for
thing I'd
months.
tell my kids off for?
Okay,
Like,
Yeah, exactly.
You try it, right? You try and swallow it around your mouth without breathing in any air.
well, that's what I would normally do.
But do it.
Yeah, that's
It's
what
really-
everyone
it's
else
really
in the
hard
world
to-
does.
It's really
so.
hard to swirl it without letting any air in your mouth. Now close your mouth and swirl it. See, you opened your mouth. Well, I don't even know what you did.
Wow, the difference! I can taste so much.
No, I just think physically it's forget it, guys.
Right, let's move on.
I don't know. It's good to swirl it.
Marzipan. Is there any marzipan?
Yeah,
Absolutely,
I get the
marzipan.
marzipan.
Yeah, but it's got that dark fruit quality to it again.
Yeah.
Wee Christmassy dram.
It's quite creamy. Okay, right, we're gonna move on.
We're gonna move
Yes.
on.
You like that one as well?
Lovely,
I have all the whiskies we've tried so far today,
Very
I'm
good.
not just saying this,
Very,
but
very
I've really,
good.
really enjoyed all
Yeah.
of them, and they're some really interesting ones. We're definitely spoilt for choice at this time of year when it comes to our festivals, and we got our 2 for 1. 2 for 1s? No, that sounds like
2
some
to
sort of
1.
deal. Two.
No 2 for
2
1
to 1.
deals.
No 2 for 1. That's illegal.
Not in Scotland,
Yeah.
we can't be
Nah,
trusted.
Illegal. Right, so we're going to finish off with something a bit smoky,
But it's not schmoo.
but it's not smoke. Oh, I've only got 2 glasses now.
Oh,
Do you know
are they
what?
clean?
My shoelace is undone.
You're not going to ask me to
No,
tie
I was
it.
not going to ask you to tie it.
Okay.
I'm just saying, my shoelace is undone.
You have to stand,
Where's he going?
stand on
Getting
it
another
on the way
glass.
Okay. Right, so, excuse me, can you
No,
take
I'm
your notes
check-
away? I didn't know you had notes
out.
tucked in by...
I listened.
What else you got in there?
No, well,
jo-
wouldn't you like to know?
Look at your
Joke
phone in there. You expecting a phone
Just
call?
in case. I mean, you never know who could
With
phone
the
you at any
children?
point. Yeah.
Me and Ria have bonded with the fact that we both have young
2
children.
girls.
2 girls.
Chaos crew.
Yeah.
In a way, I have a young child that I work with.
Today you are the young child that's sitting there giggling in the corner.
That's true, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
People from glass houses.
Well, you should be able to tell instantly because it's
Yeah, it's a lot darker
is,
than the other
is,
ones.
is, yeah, definitely. Right, we'll just keep on going. Right. Okay, so we're on to our last bottle here that we're going to open.
Ooh.
This is also part of the Whisky Wanderers Festival 2025.
Yeah. And if you buy one, you could be in with.
The prize is suddenly it's turned into QVC. Final whiskey. Yeah. That we're going to try.
Got that right.
Yep.
Point 492. It's called Chipotle Pepper Roasted Peanuts.
Chipotle.
Oh,
Chipotle.
what did I say?
Chipotle.
Now I just feel
Try
like...
again.
Now I just
Take
feel
two.
like I'm getting bullied.
No, you
So,
just
so,
can't
so
say
two,
it.
two
I
notes.
can't say it.
Right,
We'll start
try
again. 2 notes.
Cat.
It is whiskey, and it's Chipotle.
Chipotle. I bet you I say it wrong.
Right, go.
53.492. Can't even do it. Chipotle.
Yay.
Yes.
Well
I was
done.
doubting
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
Chipotle pepper roasted peanuts. 12 years old. This is from Isla, and it's bourbon into a first fill XPX butt. And this is the heavily peated flavour profile. So
Ooh.
we're jumping right in at the deep end in terms
I
of
was going to
taste.
say, I can smell it just at like arm's length.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
About,
So
yeah.
Amazing.
we do see fairly often releases from this distillery. Normally it's a wee bit different from other Isla malts, as in it is peated, but it's more of a smoke, where it's got a nice sort of light spirit. It's fruity, but so it's kind of unusual to see it heavily peated. So, but I think that a lot of people get that excited to see this as a heavily peated dram. So
Wow.
it's quite earthy.
I thought you were
isn't
going
it?
straight for the
like-
water.
No. It's so what? Tell us. Talk to us.
No, I had a word on the tip of my tongue there and I've lost it.
It's very
It smells
earthy.
like a black house, almost, if you've ever been in them.
What's a black house?
Black house. It's like an old, would you call it indigenous? Maybe not. It's what Scottish people used to live in the Highlands.
Like a cottage, like.
Yeah, it's kind of,
That's-
you see it a
that's-
lot in the Hebrides.
it's made of
It used to
peat.
be, it was made out of like,
Back
When,
then,
when
everything's
Duncan
made
and
of
I go
bricks.
home to see our parents,
yeah, that's what we have Christmas in, Calum.
And it's not still usually use peat for everything. We're like
Yeah,
the
well,
walls are peat.
It can
The
be
bed's made out of peat.
the roof's like
Well,
The
it's a
car's
mix.
made out of peat.
It can be a mix. It can be like
Peat drives the
stone,
car.
a thatched roof usually,
and they had a hole in the roof,
and a little
didn't
hole in
they?
the roof
Yeah.
where all the smoke would go through. But because there's not much space for the smoke to go through, it gets really like, it's very earthy
Yeah.
and smoky inside. So
definitely
that's kind
earthy,
of
yeah.
the same.
I mean,
same
in
kind of
terms
vibe.
of like the smoke or the peatiness, I mean, I get more earthiness on the nose, but I am guessing that when we try it, it's going to be like full on.
Like what?
Have you not tried it? When you do your little, you might get
That's
some,
like
some earth.
it's Silence of the Lambs.
Don't bring that into it.
Here we go.
Clarice. I can't even remember the line. You had to look it up for me. Oh,
Okay,
dear.
right, let's try the whiskey.
Sorry,
Slurped again.
I didn't even realise I do that.
Quite medicinal.
Yes, it is. That's absolutely delicious, though. It's kind of like
Delightful.
just more of the same. It's not massively different from the nose, but it is.
I get a lot more fruit on the palate.
Yeah.
I just get a lot more of that earthy, smoky, sooty, bonfire chimney.
Yeah, it
but
is almost like I've got
It's
the
medicinal as well.
aftertaste, like right in the back of my throat. It just smells like, or tastes like charcoal almost.
But it's funny because peat doesn't smell smoky until you burn it. It's
Yeah.
earthy. It smells like mud essentially,
Yeah.
But when you burn it, that's when the smoke's released, the phenols,
The smoke.
the smoke.
But
But
quite herbal. I don't know, something herby.
that's definitely. It definitely transports you to somewhere.
Duncan's house.
You Duncan's house. But back in the day, it's old school. It's an old school dram,
Stone
isn't
Age.
it?
Very
Um,
nice.
Great. So we enjoyed that. We've got through these drams. We've survived.
What's your drama of the pod?
Well, we should be asking you, seeing how you're our guest.
Should we all choose one?
Yeah.
I can't remember what they were now.
Rugged Highlander for me.
And that's your favourite one, isn't it? What's
No,
that called again?
I actually think the last bottle was my favourite.
Yeah.
The Chipotle was my favourite.
Chipotle.
What actually is? I'm gonna out myself here. What actually is Chipotle?
I don't think we've got time to go into that.
No, but I know what it
Yeah,
tastes
it's
like.
a sauce, isn't it?
It's a sauce. It's a
Is it a-
barbecue
is it a
sauce.
sauce?
It's a
Yeah.
Mexican kind of style.
Yeah.
Yeah. who knows?
Mayonnaise-y, barbecue. Anyway, Calum can't stay it. We've established that.
I can't stay out.
Can't say it
I've got to go home. I can't.
That's
Sorry, guys. My mum's said I've got to go in now.
with your Chipotle.
Yeah. You said something else. Just me. I'm never inviting you around here again.
Take your Chipotle.
Okay. So, right, we've done it.
What was your favourite?
Oh, my favourite.
Yeah.
I quite like the Wizard of Oz.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
I've never seen The Wizard of Oz.
Have you seen Wicked?
I have seen Wicked. And controversial take, thought it would have been better without the music.
Kind of defeats the profit.
Yeah, I was wondering what that was.
It's kind of just got in the way. I thought.
Right. Okay. Yeah,
Every time
yeah.
there was a bit of a plot development, it was like, oh, we're going to sing for 5
My
minutes.
daughter went to a Wicked musical at Easter camp, and she came back and she's singing Popular and one of the other songs, and she's been reciting them non-stop
Nice.
Gravity.
forever.
Gravity.
Wasn't Gravity,
Now's
actually?
your time.
I
Gravity's
don't
the
know.
best one.
She does the whole thing, dance moves, a lot. Yeah.
You're not going to sing. This is like
I don't
the
know.
perfect in.
No.
I know, he hasn't sung yet.
But while we're talking about children and really great fathers,
Happy Father's Day.
we have the perfect Father's Day flight. So if my wife's watching, yes, please. Ria, would you like to tell us a bit about this one?
Yeah, so this is, last year we launched
Well, just float it behind your head like this.
Dram Good Dad, and this is our second in the series, Father's Day flight. And yeah, it's £35 for members, £39 for non-members. Perfect gift for any dads, stepdads, grandfathers, great-grandfathers, sons, great sons.
All the men in your life.
Anybody, really. And it is a 3-dram pack. Beautiful little gift, 3-dram pack. Different liquid to last year, which is a point to highlight.
So if you got it last year, then there's no reason why you can't get it again this year.
Yes,
Completely different.
tasting note cards and perfect little experience, Scotch Malt Whisky Society experience for Father's Day, on sale now.
Yeah.
Do a bit of time travelling in this podcast when we film
Yes.
ahead of time.
It looks
So,
great. Also has a little note there that you can write a tune from, so you don't have to buy a card.
To Daddy, love you so much.
£35, you don't have to buy a card.
Wonderful. Well,
Fabulous. Enjoy.
Ideal.
I think it's probably time to wrap this podcast
I'm
up.
exhausted.
Have you had enough?
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming on. Thank you for...
You don't like having to hold the fort, do you? It's like the shoes on the other foot now.
No, well, it's hard trying to be the one that's kind of trying to be sensible or trying to keep things moving when Richard's normally just like... But yeah, also much love to Richard.
Yeah.
We miss you already.
Hurry back.
Hurry back soon.
Please.
It's all going wrong.
Yeah, so here's to
Cheers
all
to-
the Whisky Wanderers
And to Richard.
May,
Yeah,
and to Richard.
Richard.
Cheers.
Enjoy.
I couldn't
Cheers.
reach.
Oh, you.
Oh.